YouTube? It's your girl Y.A.D.A baby here, and I just wanted to, in light of it being Pride Month, have a quick little conversation and I guess do story time. It is Pride Month. It is the month of June, and for everyone who are just now getting to know me, I am a transgender woman, a black transgender female, and I've been trans since I was 15. And when I say that, I mean in transition, taking hormones, in the female role, day by day, 24/7. So at 14, I was going into my high school years. I'm a freshman. And when I got into high school, everything kind of started moving really fast for me. As most queer kids know, different people you're meeting, different emotions, different hormones. This is puberty that you're dealing with. And I have been wrestling with myself for a few years, the fact of my sexuality. So I had kind of gotten to that point where I was or understood that this is what I like, and I couldn't fight those emotions. I just hadn't gotten around to speaking it out loud yet. So I'm 14, I'm a freshman, I'm going to Patrick Henry High School, Minneapolis. So it just caught me, and it was just like I'm starting to find dudes attractive. I'm starting to think more about them when I go home. And then I hear about the GSA. And for everyone who don't know, I'm pretty sure you should know at this point though, but GSA stands for Gay Straight Alliance. For those who are queer, questioning, and those who are friends of those who are queer and questioning, and everyone that falls underneath the umbrella of LGBTQIA. So, with that being said, I started to go to GSA, and I was already having emotional, personal problems with my mom at home because we were already having some, I guess, defiance issues is what she would categorize it as. And, it was me wanting to be more outspoken, me wanting to be more involved in school and activities. And she kind of didn't want that. I don't know if she kind of seen my creativity being an outflow for my sexuality. And I kind of think that's kind of what it was, because I was inclined to theater and I was like musical crazy, and it was just like that passion and creativity. I think it scared my mom. She wasn't ready for that. So as I was going to the GSA, I wasn't telling her about that at the time. I had received a wristband, and it was something that the facilitators of the GSA had made for us, for those who came. And I actually took a lot of pride in it. And I wore it, and I guess it was what she started to see, which started to make the clocks whir in her head. So she see me wear this wristband, but then some days I wouldn't wear it because I would leave it at school in my locker. So with that being said, here we go. It was actually a night where there were conferences, and my mom came to the school, to check on my academic process, how I was doing, and she started to, I guess, pay attention to how people stared at me and how people kind of like pointed and whispered as we walked past. My mom is very receptive, and she sees everything. You guys will actually meet her sooner rather than later. I'll be home with her soon. So with that being said, they is turned up out there. So she came to the school, and it was conferences, and it was actually a night where the band had to play because it was the basketball game. So I was in band at the time, and so she went home, and we played at the band. It was a cool basketball game. Blase will skip. So as I came home, my mom called me into her room, and she was like, "I gotta ask you a question." And she's like, "I need to know what's up, because there's been some shit going on, and I've been peeping, I'm paying attention to it." So she like, "What's up with all this gay shit?" And I'm like, what you mean, what's up with it? She like, pretty much break it down. Is you gay or not? And I'm like, trying to go around it, trying to evade it. And I said verbatim, I said, shit, yeah, I am gay, Mom. And it was a weight that lifted off of my whole body. And the first thing that she said to me was, well, I'm going to give you scenarios that you need to be aware of, because you saying that this is how you are, you need to be aware that the world doesn't like that. My mom really isn't a big religious person. She's kind of more realistic. We do believe in a faith, you know. We believe in God, but she knows that the world, we in the world, have ways of the world. But the overplay for the underplay, it kind of went into a nice conversation. We kind of got into a little attitude, you know, confrontation, and I ended up going to sleep that night. From that night, everything kind of started just getting crazy, and like me and my mom would argue over dumb shit, like me not washing the dishes, you know. I was very feminine and androgynous already. I've always been asked, you know, are you a female or are you male? Even when I was a kid, my skin was always fair, my voice was always high. My voice now is kind of like, I've been doing a lot of talking lately, but it's always been high. I've always been assumed female. So it was just scenarios that we would get into, you know, confrontations we would get into, and just ridiculous stuff, just about me and expressing myself and how I like to wear my hair and the style of clothes I wanted to start wearing, because when I came out, she did not buy me any new clothes. Nope. I guess she didn't want to contribute to any femininity in me, and I guess she didn't want to be involved with that. So she didn't buy me any more clothes, and it was a hard freshman year because me and her got into a lot of arguments, and it always boiled back to me coming out to her. And I always took it as, you don't know how to really say that you're mad that I'm gay. But it wasn't just me being gay. It was more. It was like, I knew what it was to be gay and be looked at in that light, but I never placed that onto me because I've always been feminine, but I didn't know the words. I didn't know the vibe. I didn't know what to define that. So my freshman year, I got into a lot of arguments with my mom. We used to holler, yell, sometimes bicker so much that it was like she would lock me out. She gave me a curfew. The curfew was at 7. So, you know, I was very into school, and shit like that. I wanted to cheerlead. I couldn't really cheerlead like that. And if it wasn't for my grandmother actually being there for me and, you know, providing me shelter when my mom would do those things and letting me stay with her, I don't think I mentally would have been able to make it. And physically, definitely not for sure. And I just seen a commercial today when they were talking, and one of the queer folks on there said, I want to say to all the queer kids, it does get better. And as a message to all new queer kids, everyone questioning, even grown men who are afraid of who they are, be yourselves, and it always gets greater later. I know how scary it is to hide behind the veil of discretion, but you have to, if you love yourself, step out of that and allow yourself to be free, because it's no better feeling than being free and living your life and just having fun and loving yourself. Because when you love yourself, it lets you love others, and there's so much love in this world. Despite what they show on the TV about LGBT rights and LGBT civil issues and us being harmed, especially us as trans women and trans women of color, the world is beautiful, and don't let that sit in you. And don't let that manifest, because you are beautiful and you are amazing and you do deserve to be here. In honor of Pride Month, know that you are loved, and I love you, and that's all that matters. Don't let them tell you that because you are gay, trans, bisexual, lesbian, that you're going to contract any disease. It's not fair, and that's not true. Knowing is half the battle, and protecting yourself matters. So, never feel like this is a death sentence. You are who you are, and you should demand respect. So I'm going to sign out of here. I'm going to go pick up my food. I just wanted to have this little story time and tell you a little bit about me. I am a bad bitch, and I'm going to stand on that. Confidence is key. Remember that. Never let them see you sweating. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Peace and love, y'all.